welcome back to another episode of Indoor Chats with Indoor Racers. So just start with state your name, your age, your nationality, and who you're racing for.
I am Zoe Saccio. I'm 23. I race with Pickle Cycling. I'm American, but I've been racing in BC for the last 5 years.
Amazing. So out of country local, in a sense, racing with for Cycling BC. And Zoe, when you're not training or racing, what do you like to get up to in your free time?
Well, I'm in law school also, so I don't have too much free time. But I like to look at pictures of food on the internet and cook. And yeah.
Nice, some fun homely stuff there. And Zoe, you're a pretty experienced cyclist with lots of results behind your name. How long have you been racing bikes for?
I've been racing for about 5 years now. It's gone by pretty quick.
Amazing. And what is your first memory of racing? What's the memory that pops to you?
My first memory of racing was a Tuesday nighter at the Glen Lyon course in Vancouver. I ate a banana and raced for about half the race and decided I was tired and quit. That was the last time that I let myself DNF without a really good reason.
Awesome. That's a fun little story. And Zoe, through the years, you've obviously developed some skills. You're quite experienced on the track, spending lots of time there as well. So what's your rider strength? What would you say you are as a rider?
I'm really an all-arounder. Probably my top discipline is the individual pursuit. I did get a medal at nationals in the U.S. in the individual pursuit. But I love a hilly road race as well.
Nice, some all-around punchy stuff, like in the track as well. Now moving towards virtual racing, it obviously hasn't been along for a super long time, but you have done some stuff before. So what's your first memory of a virtual race?
Well, I've only done a couple virtual races. My first one was the virtual Indy Crit, and I just remember thinking this isn't as bad as I was expecting, but it's still really hard, and figuring out the logistics, especially, learning the game of trying to figure out what a draft is when you're just on the trainer is really interesting.
Awesome. And then the most important, most controversial question about it is, do you like racing indoors or do you like racing outdoors more?
Well, my favorite is indoor, but on the track. But they both have their pluses and minuses. I like outside more, but inside's nice because there's no crashing. You can go deeper without any risk of, oh my gosh, I can't see.
Just close your eyes and let the tears flow.
Yep.
Awesome.
Lots of crashing, nobody judging.
Exactly. They don't have to show that to anybody. Now, racing indoors and racing outdoors is obviously very different. So how have you had to alter your riding style and tactics to accommodate indoor racing?
I actually use a pretty similar strategy. I try to play into my own strengths, a lot of just trying to beat down on everyone else, just keep attacking over and over. I think, it requires a little bit of a different mentality that I'm going to keep going even though nobody really is going to notice if I don't, is unique to indoors. But yeah.
So you say it's just push yourself to the absolute limit and see what happens?
Yeah, my coach was telling me a couple of weeks ago that, there's no concession. So if you feel like, if I don't keep, I can keep going and I'll be on the podium, but really what I need to do is win. And that's just telling yourself over and over, I need to win, I need to win, I need to win. Whereas on the road, sometimes you have other priorities and other jobs as well.
Right. Now, obviously, to perform at such a high level as you do indoors, there's the racing, the legs of the rider, the tactics, but there's also the technological aspect of having a trainer setup. So what sort of setup are you running trainer computer-wise?
So I run the RGT on my MacBook and I have a tax trainer. They're great trainers.
Awesome. Yeah. So you have a pretty smart setup, and have you found that having a little nicer setup has helped you through your virtual racing?
Yeah, having a smart trainer is a big bonus. I think I actually use a Power 2 Max power meter for the racing, just so that I have numbers that are similar to my road numbers. But it's really nice to be able to record the backup numbers on the smart trainer. And I like that it adjusts for climbing too. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it always is. So to focus a bit more on the virtual BC Cup that's coming up next week for the next 4 weeks in April. Yeah, this is super exciting. There's obviously some team goals that you've got with Pickle Juice Racing, but do you have any personal goals that you like to fulfill?
Well, I think that maybe it's on the 17th, they're doing the Dirty River course again, and I won on that course a few weeks ago, and so I'd like to perform there as well. But really, I'm just hoping to see Pickles on the podium. Good big fields.
That's fun. Now, as you say, you'd like to see some of your teammates up on the podium, and you guys obviously have some sort of team structure to tactically work together and get each other on the podium. And I was chatting to Colleen earlier today, actually, and she was saying you guys run it in a bit more of the Queenic quick step style, where you all go in with a winning mindset and see what happens out on the course. So how do you find that as a rider?
I think it's really awesome. We have a small team, and every course will cater a little bit differently. Me and Claire and Colleen all have really different strengths. And so, there's the possibility we could all end up on the podium, but there's the possibility that some races could suit one of us more than the other. And, it's always nice to end up with your teammates on the podium.
It is for sure. So you mentioned that there's obviously Claire, Cameron, who we've also chatted with earlier, and then Colleen Gulick as well. So do you have any other riders we should be looking out for on the race courses?
I do think that we might have some guest riders coming up. I think Fiona Magendi, who rides for Red Trek regularly, is going to guest ride with us for some of these virtual races. So that could be a pretty exciting addition.
Awesome. So some new names in there that we should be looking out for on the courses. And that's basically all the big questions I have for you, Zoe. But to wrap it up, I like to ask a last one, fast one. So when you're racing, obviously there's music in the background. So put yourself in the mindset, there's 400 meters to go. You're super bonked. What's one song that if it comes on, it'll get you across the line in first place?
Gwen Stefani, Holla Back Girl.
Holla Back Girl. That's a fun one. I like it.
It's a good one.
Awesome. That's basically all the big questions I've got for you, Zoe.
Awesome. It was great talking to you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time, and we'll see you on the race courses.